The shocking ER visit. Emily's fingers trembled as she held the blood-stained note, the words swimming in her blurry vision. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered, casting an eerie glow across the small, sterile hospital room. The antiseptic. Scent was suffocating, but it was nothing compared to the cold fear freezing her heart. "I'm not who you think I am. Meet me at midnight, or everything ends." She read the message again and again, hoping the meaning would become clear, but it only deepened the mystery and her terror. Suddenly the door creaked open, the sound slicing through the thick silence like a knife. Emily spun around, her breath hitching. There, in the doorway, stood Dr. Ryan Matthews, the man who had been quietly watching over her since she arrived at the ER earlier that evening. His usually gentle face was drawn tight with tension, eyes clouded with something Emily couldn't place. "Emily." His voice was low, almost a whisper. "What is going on?" she demanded, her voice shaking. "Why is this note here? What do you mean you're not who I think you are?" Ryan stepped fully into the room and shut the door behind him. "There's no easy way to say this," he began, rubbing the back of his neck. "I've been living a double life, and now it's catching up with me." Emily's heart pounded, harder. "A double life? What are you talking about?" Before Ryan could answer, Emily's phone buzzed sharply in her pocket. She pulled it out with shaking hands and saw a new message, an unmarked video file. Her breath caught. She tapped the screen. The grainy video showed Ryan speaking in a shadowy alleyway with a man she didn't recognize. Ryan's expression was hard, his voice low and serious. Emily couldn't hear the words clearly, but the look on his face was cold and distant, nothing like the caring doctor she thought she knew. She gasped, tears blurring her vision. "Who is that? What's going on?" Ryan swallowed, looking away. "You weren't supposed to see that. I wanted to protect you." "Protect me? From what? There are people who want to hurt me, people who will stop at nothing." Emily shook her head in disbelief. "Why involve me? I'm just a patient. Because you're the only one I can trust," Ryan said, voice strained. "And because now you're in danger too." Her legs felt weak beneath her. She sank down onto the hospital bed, clutching the note as if it were a lifeline. A sudden knock at the door made her jump. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "Stay quiet." He moved quickly, pulling a curtain around the bed just as a nurse peeked inside. "Vitals check," the nurse said with a soft smile. But when Emily saw the tattoo on the nurse's wrist, a strange symbol identical to the one in the video, her blood ran cold. The nurse's gaze flicked between Emily and Ryan. "Everything okay here?" Ryan forced a smile. "Just routine." The nurse nodded slowly, then leaned in close. "Watch your back, doctor." The door clicked shut behind her. Emily's heart thundered. "What does that mean?" Ryan hesitated. "We're not safe here. I need to get you somewhere secure." "But what about my fever? My dizziness?" Emily asked, panic rising. "Those can wait. Right now we need to focus on staying alive." Emily's mind reeled. She had come here for help, and instead found herself pulled into a nightmare. "Why didn't you tell me before?" she whispered. Ryan looked at her with tired eyes. "Because I didn't want to drag you into this, but now there's no choice." She swallowed hard. "What do I do?" "We leave," he said firmly. "At midnight. I'll explain everything." "On the way." Emily's heart raced. The night outside was dark and stormy, rain pounding against the hospital windows. She knew one thing for sure. Her life would never be the same again. Midnight escape. The hospital clock was ticking closer to midnight, each second hammering like a warning. Emily's whole body was tense as she sat on the edge of the cold hospital bed, clutching the small flash drive Ryan had given her. Outside, the storm was relentless, thunder shaking the windows, rain slashing against the glass like angry knives. Ryan was silent, watching the door with sharp, wary eyes. He looked older, more worn than the calm doctor she had first met. The man she trusted now felt like a stranger carrying heavy secrets. Emily's voice trembled as she finally broke the silence. "Ryan, please, tell me everything. What is this secret life? Why are they after you? And me?" Ryan's jaw clenched. "I wish I could protect you from it all, but it's bigger than both of us now." He began to speak in a low, urgent tone. "Years ago, I was part of an organization, one you wouldn't believe exists. It's a shadow group that controls things behind the scenes, experimenting on people, covering up crimes. I worked as a medic for them, but when I found out their true purpose, I left. I thought leaving would mean safety, but they never forget and they never forgive." Emily's breath caught. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because I didn't want you to get hurt." Suddenly, a loud knock echoed on the door. Both froze. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "They've found me here." Before Emily could react, Ryan pulled her up. "We have to move now." He led her through the maze-like hospital corridors, sticking to the shadows as rain hammered down outside. Their footsteps were quick, but quiet, the storm masking their escape. Behind them, heavy footsteps echoed. Two men appeared at the far end of the hallway, their faces obscured under hoods. They spoke in low voices, scanning the area with cold eyes. Ryan quickly pulled Emily into a nearby supply closet, closing the door silently. They held their breath. As the men searched nearby, their voices sharp and suspicious. Emily's heart pounded so loudly she thought they'd hear it. She glanced at Ryan, who looked grim but determined. "They want the flash drive," he whispered. "If they get it, it's over. This flash drive contains proof, names, dates, recordings, the truth they're desperate to hide." Emily swallowed, hard, clutching the drive. "What happens if they find us?" Ryan looked at her with fierce eyes. "Then we fight, or we disappear, but I won't let them win." After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps faded away. Ryan peeked out. The men were gone. "Now," he said quietly, "we run." They dashed through the hospital, heartbeats racing, until they burst outside into the storm. Rain soaked them instantly as Ryan unlocked his car. Emily shivered but forced herself to stay alert. "Where to now?" she asked. "Somewhere safe," Ryan replied, "but not for long. They'll keep coming." The car pulled away, tires slicing through puddles as the thunder roared overhead. Inside, Emily stared at the flash drive, the weight of it heavy in her palm. Her life, once quiet and ordinary, had exploded into danger and secrets. "What did I get myself into?" she whispered, not sure if she wanted the answer. Ryan glanced at her, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. "I'll explain everything. Just trust me for now." As the city lights blurred past, Emily realized that nothing would ever be the same again. The night had only just begun. Secrets unveiled and trust shattered. The car hummed quietly as Ryan drove through the rain-slicked streets, the city lights casting streaks of color across the wet windshield. Emily sat rigid beside him, her fingers wrapped tightly around the flash drive, the weight of it heavy in her hand. The storm outside was relentless, but inside, an even darker tempest churned. "Where exactly are you taking me?" Emily finally asked, breaking the tense silence. Ryan glanced over, his eyes shadowed. "To a safe house. It's off the grid, away from prying eyes. I have a few people I can trust, and we'll figure out our next steps there." Emily swallowed, feeling her pulse in her throat. "You said there are people after you. How many? What do they want?" Ryan's knuckles whitened as he gripped the steering wheel. "More than I care to count. They're powerful. They'll stop at nothing to keep their secrets buried. And now, they're after you too." Emily's mind raced back to the tattoo on the nurse's wrist, the symbol she'd seen in the video. "What's that symbol, the one the nurse had?" Ryan's face darkened. "That's the mark of the organization. They infiltrate everything, hospitals, government offices, even law enforcement. It's how they keep control. A chill ran down Emily's spine. And you used to be part of this group? Ryan hesitated before nodding. I did. But I left when I found out the extent of their crimes. I couldn't be a part of it anymore. The rain intensified, drumming a frantic rhythm on the car's roof. The city blurred outside the windows as the car sped toward the outskirts. Emily felt torn, fear mingling with a flicker of anger. Why didn't you tell me all this before? Why drag me into your mess now? Ryan's voice was heavy. Because I wanted to protect you. But they found out about you anyway. Emily closed her eyes, a wave of exhaustion washing over her. Her life had been simple, quiet, shy, and safe. Now it was anything but. Suddenly, Ryan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, then his face tightened. They're tracking my phone. I need to turn it off. He powered it down and shoved it into the glove compartment. Emily bit her lip. How can we be sure? They won't find us. Ryan's jaw clenched. We can't be sure of anything, but we have to try. After what felt like hours, the car pulled up to a secluded cabin nestled among dense trees. The house was old, weathered by time, but its windows glowed warmly against the stormy night. Ryan turned to Emily. This is where I stay when things get bad. It's secure, no cameras, no signals. We'll be safe here for now. Emily stepped inside, the warmth of the cabin contrasting sharply with the chill she felt inside. She looked around, the modest living room filled with books, a few personal mementos, and a locked safe in the corner. Ryan opened the safe, pulling out a small stack of papers and an old laptop. I've been gathering evidence, names, dates, locations. Proof of everything they've done, he explained. I need your help to get it out. Emily sat down, her head spinning. Why me? Ryan looked at her, eyes filled with a mix of hope and fear. Because you're the only one I can trust. And because you have the courage I don't always have. That night, as the storm raged outside, Emily and Ryan pored over the documents, piecing together a web of corruption and betrayal that ran deeper than either of them had imagined. But as dawn broke, a new fear took hold. If this secret ever got out, it could destroy lives, including theirs. Suddenly, a noise from outside snapped them to attention. Someone was approaching the cabin. Ryan grabbed a flashlight and peered out the window. Stay here, he whispered. Emily's heart pounded as she watched him step into the darkness. Moments later, Ryan returned, face pale. They found us, he said grimly. We have to move, now. Emily grabbed her coat, determination hardening inside her. As they fled into the morning mist, Emily realized this was no longer just Ryan's fight. It was hers. The web tightens. Emily's breath came in sharp gasps as she and Ryan sprinted through the damp forest, the early morning mist clinging to their skin like cold whispers. Behind them, the faint crunch of footsteps echoed ominously, relentless pursuers closing the distance. Ryan glanced back, his face taut with urgency. We have to split up. They won't expect two different directions. Emily shook her head, panic flooding her veins. No, we stick together. We're stronger that way. But Ryan's jaw set. I'm not leaving you. But if they catch both of us, it's over. You have the flash drive. You must get it to safety. I'll draw them away. Tears pricked Emily's eyes, but she nodded, swallowing her fear. Promise me you'll come back. Ryan grasped her hand tightly. I promise, without another word, he veered left into the thick underbrush. Emily, clutching the flash drive like her lifeline, took a deep breath and ran right, disappearing into the shadows. For what felt like hours, Emily darted through the forest, branches tearing at her clothes, heart pounding like a drum. Every rustle sent a jolt of terror through her. Finally, exhausted and soaked from the morning dew, she stumbled into a narrow dirt road. There, parked in the shadows, was an old motorcycle. A man stepped forward, helmet in hand, a rugged face, sharp eyes that scanned her like a hawk. "Ryan sent me," the man said curtly. "We don't have much time." Emily barely nodded, sliding onto the back as the bike roared to life. The wind whipped past her as they sped away from the forest and the nightmare she hoped she was leaving behind. Back in the cabin, Ryan slowed, catching his breath. The forest was eerily silent. Then, from the shadows, footsteps approached. He turned to face the figures emerging from the gloom, two men with cold eyes and even colder smiles. "You can't run forever, Dr. Matthews," one sneered. Ryan's heart hammered. He knew this was a fight he couldn't avoid. As the men lunged, he braced himself, knowing every second brought Emily a chance to survive. Hours later, Emily and the rider arrived at a safe location. A small, nondescript apartment in the heart of the city. Inside, she was introduced to a team of allies Ryan had quietly assembled over the years. Hackers, ex-cops, journalists, all united by the desire to expose the dark organization. Despite their kindness, Emily felt like a fragile outsider, weighed down by fear and uncertainty. One ally, a sharp-eyed woman named Lara, studied her carefully. "You're carrying a ticking bomb," she said. "That flash drive is the key to bringing them down, but it'll also put a target on your back." Emily nodded, feeling the enormity of her role sink in. Over the next few days, Emily and Lara worked together, deciphering the encrypted files on the flash drive. The revelations were horrifying. Illegal experiments, political cover-ups, innocent lives destroyed. Emily's quiet, shy world was unraveling, but with each secret uncovered, a spark of determination ignited inside her. Meanwhile, Ryan's situation worsened. Injured but unbroken, he was imprisoned in a hidden compound, surrounded by guards who wanted answers. Days passed like a blur of pain and isolation. Ryan refused to break, clinging to hope that Emily was out there, alive, fighting. In a rare moment alone, Ryan discovered a crack in the security, a forgotten ventilation shaft leading to the outside world. With grim resolve, he began planning his escape. Back in the city, Emily received a chilling message, an anonymous text showing a photo of Lara's apartment taken just hours ago. Shadows loomed outside, waiting. Emily's breath caught. The organization was closing in. She grabbed the flash drive and her phone, heart racing. It was time to move again, but this time she wouldn't run blindly. She would fight. The web was tightening, and Emily was caught right in the center. The betrayal within. Emily barely slept that night. The photo on her phone haunted her, a chilling reminder that the shadows she fled from were closing in fast. Lara's apartment, once a sanctuary, had become a trap. The organization was relentless. The apartment was empty now. Lara had vanished without a trace. Panic knotted in Emily's chest, but she refused to give in. She was alone now, and if she was going to survive, she had to be sharper than her enemies. She packed the essentials, the flash drive, her phone, and a small pistol Ryan had slipped her before disappearing. The gun felt foreign in her hand, but also strangely empowering. Emily's thoughts raced back to Ryan, imprisoned, injured, but fighting. She owed him everything. She owed herself the chance to fight back. The city was a labyrinth of secrets and dangers. Emily knew the organization's reach was vast. Even the police could be compromised. Her only hope was an underground network Ryan had once trusted, a ragtag group of whistleblowers, hackers, and ex-agents who lived in the shadows. Her first lead took her to a dive bar on the outskirts, where whispers and wary glances filled the air. Inside, Emily met Mark, a grizzled former agent with a cybernetic eye and a dry sense of humor. His piercing gaze appraised her instantly. "You've got trouble written all over you, kid," he said, lighting a cigarette, "but I like your spirit." Emily laid out her story, the flash drive resting on the table like a loaded grenade. Mark nodded slowly. "This is bigger than you think. They've got tendrils everywhere." He introduced her to his team, each with scars, stories, and skills forged in the fight against corruption. Together, they plotted a daring plan: hack into the organization's central database and expose everything, live on air. But to pull it off, Emily needed to get inside their headquarters, the one place no outsider ever entered. Meanwhile, Ryan's escape plan was underway. The ventilation shaft was narrow and claustrophobic, but hope fueled his every movement. Every breath was a battle as he crawled through darkness, muscles aching, heart pounding. Suddenly a faint voice echoed, "Guards." Shouting nearby, Ryan froze, listening. A lucky break. A guard was distracted by a commotion. Ryan pushed forward, crawling faster. At last, he emerged into the cold night air, free but vulnerable. He had no time to celebrate. The city was dangerous, and the organization's eyes were everywhere. He sent Emily a quick, encrypted message. "I'm out. Meet me." At the old docks. Emily's heart leapt when she saw the message. She knew the docks, the last place anyone would expect to find her or Ryan, but time was against them. As she prepared to leave, Mark's phone buzzed. A warning. "They're coming." "Tonight," Mark said grimly. Emily felt a surge of adrenaline. This was it. The old docks were shrouded in fog, ships creaking in the night. Emily arrived first, scanning the shadows. Then a figure appeared, Ryan, battered but alive. Relief flooded her. But before they could speak, headlights flooded the area. Black SUVs surrounded them. The organization had found them again. Gunfire erupted. Emily ducked behind crates, heart hammering. Ryan pulled her close. "We have to fight," he said. Together, they fought through the chaos, dodging bullets, shouting orders, desperate to survive. But then betrayal shattered everything. One of Mark's team, a man Emily had trusted, turned on them, opening fire from behind. Emily's world tilted. Why? Before she could react, a bullet grazed her arm. Pain flared, but she pushed forward. Ryan tackled the traitor, furious. The firefight ended with sirens approaching, the organization's backup retreating. In the aftermath, Emily sat on the cold, her dock bleeding but alive, trust shattered, danger mounting. But one truth was clear. This fight wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about revenge. The truth that froze Emily's arm throbbed fiercely as she sat slumped on the cold dock. The chaos of the firefight still ringing in her ears. The betrayal had cut deeper than any bullet. Mark, the man she trusted most in this shadow war, had turned against them. She stared at the dark water, the ripples distorted by the moonlight, and a storm of emotions crashed through her. Betrayal, rage, grief, and a fierce determination to finish what they had started. Ryan was beside her, bruised but unbroken. His hand found hers, squeezing tightly. "We're close," he whispered. "Closer than ever before." The evidence on that flash. "Drive, once it's out there. It will bring them down." Emily nodded, tears blurring her vision. "But how? They have spies everywhere, even inside the police. How do we trust anyone now?" Ryan's gaze hardened. "We trust ourselves, and the people who proved their loyalty, by standing beside us through fire." The plan was simple but dangerous. With the traitor exposed, Mark's remaining loyalists were ready to help. But the group was small and resources limited. They decided to strike at the heart of the organization. A gala event the corrupt leaders were holding at an exclusive city hotel. Under the guise of security, the group would infiltrate the party, hack the organization's systems, and broadcast the damning evidence live. It was a high-risk mission that could end in death or victory. On the night of the gala, Emily dressed carefully, blending in with the elite crowd. Every step felt like walking a tightrope above a pit of vipers. Ryan stayed close, his eyes scanning the room. As the evening unfolded, Emily felt the tension tightening. Every smile was a mask. every conversation a potential trap. The organization's leaders were there, wealthy, powerful, smug in their arrogance. Emily's heart pounded as she approached the main computer system, guided by Lara's last messages. She was missing, but had left encrypted clues in her notes. With trembling fingers, Emily plugged in the flash drive. Suddenly, alarms blared. The room froze. Security rushed toward her. Ryan intercepted them, buying her precious seconds. Emily hit the upload button, the files streaming live to every major news outlet. Screens flickered, revealing the horrifying truths, the illegal experiments, the political bribes, the lives destroyed. Gasps filled the room. Chaos erupted. The corrupt leaders scrambled to cover their tracks, but it was too late. Outside, crowds gathered, watching the broadcast unfold. Emily felt a wave of relief, but also fear. In the chaos, Ryan was cornered by the head of the organization, a man with cold eyes and a cruel smile. "You think this ends here?" the man hissed. "You'll regret crossing us." Ryan's voice was steady. "No, you'll regret underestimating what truth can do." Suddenly, sirens wailed. Law enforcement, backed by honest officers alerted by the broadcast, stormed the gala. The corrupt men were arrested, handcuffed, humiliated. Justice, long delayed, was finally underway. In the aftermath, Emily and Ryan stood together, bruised but victorious. The organization's grip had been broken. Lara was found safe, having been in hiding and gathering more evidence. Mark's betrayal had been a painful lesson, but it strengthened their resolve. Emily looked at Ryan, tears streaming down her face, not from pain, but from hope. "Thank you," she whispered, "for believing in me." Ryan smiled gently. "You found your strength. You're not the shy girl anymore." Months later, Emily spoke at a public hearing, sharing her story of fear, betrayal, survival, and ultimately transformation. She told the world, sometimes losing everything is the only way to find who you really are. Her journey, from silent victim to fierce warrior, became an inspiration, and in the quiet moments, Emily knew the battle had changed her forever. But she was ready, stronger, unbreakable. The end.